How are we, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. I'm carrying on tonight with my Let's Talk About series, and we're still carrying on with the Morbid Angel and all that is related to them. And tonight we are talking about another project with Erik Rutan, the one and done, the Alas of absolute purity, a hidden gem in his catalogue or his body of work, however you want to call it. Excuse me. A bit of a different one tonight. This isn't normally the sort of thing I would cover. You got a poster inside the box set edition there, and here is the actual CD. I've got a little desk lamp. I watched a couple of my videos back, and I noticed when I held the thing up because it was a bit dark, so I've got this little thing here that I've put on the laptop. Alas, what do we talk about? Right. Symphonic metal. There you go. Symphonic metal with female operatic vocals. You've got two singers to talk about, so we'll talk about that as a thing. So, yeah, if you're into your Levi's, Lacuna Coil, Nightwish, I'm not sure about that. You get the gist, though. You know, those metal bands with a woman vocalist, but they would normally sing in opera, you know. And there is obviously a difference, million miles difference between someone like, you know, it's not a metal with a woman singing like Doro Pesh or something like that, Arch Enemy. Mind you, Arch Enemy's current singer, she likes to, she's not just a death metal singer, is she? She can do all sorts of stuff. She does a lot of operatic stuff and whatnot. But yeah, you get the gist. It's not really a form of metal that I normally listen to, and no reason for it. It's just not something I normally go to. But there's a market for it, and there's, for a lot of people, that's like their main thing that they listen to. You know, that's like their subgenre, it's their thrash or whatever. But yeah, this is certainly different for what Erik Rutan is known for, and yeah, I wonder why he didn't explore it more, really. But as we spoke about with Hate Eternal, this all started on the original Split EP. If you are new to this channel, this is your first video. Yeah, go and check that out. But if you are, you know, a fan of this album and wanted to do a review, that's one of the things as well. I've noticed I've not seen I've seen very few and far between reviews of this album, and also I've never seen any videos of anyone talking about it. But yeah, originally this was in '97, was it? The split with Hate Eternal. Yeah, it was a split of 1987. What am I talking about? 1997, and the lineup on this recording: Erik Rutan, obviously on guitars, and Tracy Bean on vocals, Alex Webster again on bass, and Jason Morgan on guitars, and Howard Davis on the drums. Now, it's a completely different lineup on the album. We'll get to that when we come to it. I mean, that's pretty cool that Alex Webster has played bass on everything, really. I mean, it was a big fuss when he joined Hate Eternal for the Fury and Flames album. But yeah, he was actually there at the beginning. He played on a demo. So yeah, obviously that split came out. Again, I'll never get tired of showing this off because it's one of my prized possessions. Erik would then go on to do Hate Eternal. We then did another Morbid Angel album, and then he recorded this album. And the fact that these two albums were released the same year, it basically just sums up the talent and the broad, you know, just how much bases Erik can cover as a player and as a songwriter, because these two albums, in some ways, couldn't be further apart, but in other ways, they've got so much in common. I could pretty much describe Alas the same way I would describe Hate Eternal, just in the opposite way. It's quite literally two sides of a coin. two sides of a spectrum, really. I mentioned before as well. I did interview Erik. I did a pretty in-depth interview for Metal Legion magazine, and I thought I'd read this out to you. So I put here. I also wanted to talk about Alas, the hidden gem in your catalogue. How do you feel looking back on that project, and how would you revisit it, or would you revisit it? And he answered, I started Alas at the same time as Hate Eternal. The split EP was the first release for both projects. Alas came from my roots of a classical family. So Alas is a hybrid of metal and classical music. I think that sums it up perfectly, really. So it's something that I did, and I have written more songs past that. But a part of it has been due to lack of time from doing Hate Eternal, running a studio and having a family. It's been challenging for me to be able to create another record. But as years goes by, I question why I haven't done another Alas record. I think part of it is because I've been so busy, and part of it is the depth. To be honest about it, the depth of pain that is involved on that record, it goes back a long way, and there's a lot of real personal stuff on that record. I put so much into that album. It took a lot out of me, and I'm not sure I meant to do another record at this point. I thought for the longest time that I wanted to, and there are songs that are still there, that where the music brings me to a pretty dark place, and I'm not sure I'm ready to go back there. I guess, I don't know, I never will, honestly. I don't really have an answer for it. Someday I might, I'm not sure. It's hard to say, but I love Alas, and it probably has some of my best guitar work, and I think that's one thing to take away there. This is it is a great merging of classical music and metal. And I mean, if you just look at that front cover, it's the inside of a cathedral, and like something sort of descent in there into the heavens, I suppose. I'll go through the pages as I talk about this. I mean, when I was in Rome and going through all these different cathedrals as well, it does have a profound effect on you. You know, you just see, you know, all this wonderful stuff, all these beautiful paintings, this wonderful architecture, the marble. You really do sort of walk around, just you are in awe of it all, and you just think I just can't see how someone could make something like that today. And when you look at some of these paintings and just the detail and just everything that's in them, you kind of get that sort of feeling whilst listening to this album. Like you look at that and think, wow, what a masterpiece. And you listen to this album and there's just so much interwoven in with it all. And there's some beautiful, beautiful melodies on there. And like I say, when Erik said in that interview piece there that this was some of his best guitar work, I would agree. It's some of his best riffs, some of his best solos. But again, it's just like with Hate Eternal. It's, you know, there's some amazing solos and, you know, amazingly complex guitar work on there. But, you know, not technical and, you know, for the sake of it. But it's just, it's like a tapestry in a way. And, you know, everything is just in its, every little detail, everything is just in its place. And yeah, the vocals are beautiful, and there's some real earworm melodies in there. I mean, especially when I've been listening to this. I've been listening to this album for about 2 weeks now, on and off on repeat. I've been trying to listen to it at least once a day, and some of the riffs, some of the melodies, some of the vocal lines, they do stick in your head. And like I said on the Hate Eternal album, it kind of, everything just sort of hits you at first, and you need to listen to it, and it sort of deciphers as it goes along. And with every listen, it just makes more sense, and it starts becoming more clearer. Again, this is the same in the opposite way. Whilst Hate Eternal is just this attack, this hailstone on you, there's still quite a lot going on with this, but it's not like that. It's not an attack thing, but it is a bit of an overwhelming listen, because everything's just turned up to 11, but just in an opposite way, rather than just like heaviness and brutality, but in the way the music just hits you with so much going on. The vocals are very upfront, very, they hit you. And again, with what's everything's going on with the songs, but again, it rewards repeated listens, and everything becomes clearer with every listen. And I think the more you listen to it, you will genuinely love this album. And it's wonderfully melodic and textualized and complex, and just a really, really great album. Right, so I went for the lineup of the EP, didn't I? You've got 4 songs here: Summoning the Masses, Quest for Serenity, Silence in the Sorrow, and Rejection of What You Perceive. All 4 of the songs on this EP are re-recorded on the album. The album does have a completely different lineup, though. I think it's a completely different lineup. Yeah, you got Erik Rutan on vocals and keyboards. This time you have Martina Hornsbacher Asner. I think I pronounced her name right. You may recognise her from what are they called? Dreams of Sanity is a past band, but she's also been in Therion, who that's who I'm more familiar with. That rang a bell, but again, that whole subgenre isn't really my forte, to be honest. Who else was in the band? Let's go through this again. I've got to come back on the page. And you've got Howard Davis on drums and Scott Hornick on bass. I'll just have a quick look and see what else they've done. I don't think nothing that springs to mind that I've heard of anyway. But everyone's on fine form. Oh, Scott Hornick was in Dimmuck. He was on the 2006 and 2011 albums. He was in the Industry. He was on Ripping Corpse as well. He played bass on the demo Industry that came after the album. So there you go. There's a link. It all comes together. It's hard to sort of describe individual songs without singing them to you, and I don't know. I know I am quite prone to start going like singing off riffs, but they all kind of break into life and then kind of go into a nice quiet section, and then the song sort of builds up into the sort of guitars kick in nice and crunchy for a soaring chorus, and then there'll be like this beautiful emotional lead guitar. The Enchanted starts off quite quiet, actually. It starts off with like a nice little acoustic where the drums just, like when it just breaks down and the drums just sort of tapping on the edge of the drum. And then sorry, I forget her name. Martina kind of does this with this nice acoustic guitar underneath it. Then the singing kicks in. One thing I will say, I think the original singer on the she was full on opera, whilst Martina on this will do some general singing and then sort of work her way in. And as the song comes in, she doesn't just flat out go into the operatic vocals, but she will sort of merge into them. So it's not quite so in your face. I'm just trying to think of like Loss of a Life, for example, has just got it's just some real fantastic riff. That and then it kicks into this like and that one really kicks in, and then she has this like melody going over the top, over the top of that, and the way her melody goes sinks in with the guitar is really nice. This is the thing. Unless I sit there and sing the riffs and sing the vocal melodies to you, it's hard to sort of separate, like describe the songs on an individual basis. But one funny thing as well is the last track is just like this. I don't know if it's like an acoustic guitar or something, but it's like ding 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 ding. It's like Eric's just sitting on his porch with a little, like a, I don't know, a mandarin or something. Like I don't know if it's a guitar or what, but it even gives me a little bit of a country vibe going on. But yeah, when you've got all this, fantastic sort of orchestral, majestic music, that's another thing as well. This feels majestic. It feels, if you ever did go for a day, if you ever were on holiday, and you was looking through some cathedrals or something like that, I'd recommend listening to this while you're doing it. Maybe if you went for an art gallery, like a decent art gallery, not some shitty modern art one, but you're seeing some Renaissance paintings or some some classic paintings, or you're walking through a city or a town with a really nice, beautiful cathedral with a nice interior. Walk around with this playing, and I think it suits it perfectly. Like classical music. This has that quality. It has that interwovenness, that detail, that that just so many hidden things going on in it. And again, there's some genuinely beautiful, haunting melodies on this. Some very emotional vocals, very emotional lyrics as well. As what he alludes to in that quote from the interview, even before the tributes he did when Gerard Anderson died, it seems to me Erik has dealt with a lot of grief in his life, if these lyrics are anything to go by. And then what he's always kind of done like a thing on Hate Eternal where he would kind of pay tribute to the dead at some point. He's done it. He obviously did that with Gerard, but and a few albums afterwards, there was always a thing. Yeah, it seems like I don't know if he's lost parents at a young age or something like that, but it's something that he's dealing with on this album. And yeah, there's some very personal and very emotional lyrics on this, and Martina captures that wonderfully. It makes me wonder what made you go with those operatic vocals, because it's obviously something he felt he needed, and yeah, I wonder. It's when you listen to this and you listen, with Ripping Corpse and Hate Eternal, and now he's in Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel, obviously, and then you just drop this in the middle of it all. It really does just throw things off, and it just goes to show what the guy is capable of and what more he can do when he's not doing all this brutal, death metal. But again, Hate Eternal can just be just as majestic and epic in the true sense of the word. I mean, people describe a fucking hamburger as epic nowadays, but I still get that same feeling from Hate Eternal. I get it with Nile as well, funnily enough. Like, again, when I visited the Vatican once on a holiday, and I just these fucking glorious paintings. You get that when you listen to this. You think this is something truly, this is just a monumental piece of work. And I get the same thing here. So, yeah, the fact that these two albums, and I'm making sure I'm not second-guessing myself. No, that's not actually true, actually. Absolute Purity came out in 2001. I think King of All Kings came out 2002. I don't know what made me think that, but well, I think he recorded the albums back to back. I mean, there wouldn't have been that much of a gap between the two, but yeah. So it would have been the Hate Eternal split was obviously the same time, and then he did Conquering the Throne with Hate Eternal, Alas, Absolute Purity, then did King of All Kings. But even still, the fact that this is in the middle of it all, I'd love to hear him do something a bit more like this, something a bit more melodic, maybe with a different style of vocal. I could see him doing like a classic sort of heavy metal sort of thing. Apparently he has a Doom project in the works, and I know he's got some sort of other project with someone that does like sort of worldly instruments, shall we say, like instruments that are a bit off, a bit unusual. I think he's doing like a sort of a Nile style musical project, but I don't think it's death metal. I remember him saying something about that. I don't know what'll ever come of it though. Especially now Cannibal Corpse is in the mix with everything he does. But yeah, Alas this is a real hidden gem. I think more people should definitely check it out. If it's not normally my kind of metal, but I've really enjoyed this. I've listened to it on and off over the years, but this is the first time I've really concentrated and sort of homed in on it. And yeah, this is a really beautiful album. Really beautiful, hauntingly beautiful, beautifully interwoven, full of texture, full of detail, and yeah, just a real monumental piece of work. Another feather in Erik Rutan's cap, and everyone involved. And yeah, Martina and I forget the other lady's name. Let's quickly look her up. Tracy Bian, two beautiful singers and more talent than I'll ever have, the pair of them. And yeah, that's the next part of this series, really. Definitely check this out. You can get it cheap enough as well. Definitely an underrated gem. I'd even say it's one of Erik's masterpieces. And yeah, I mean, there's even some people that sort of go, he put this out and put Hate Eternal out, and kind of that was the fork in the road. Where was he going to take his career? And some people say, you know, this was the masterpiece that kind of flopped, and he just went, oh well, I'll stick to what people want, and he carried on with death metal. I don't think that's particularly true, to be honest, but there's a theory there. But yeah, so yeah, I've been going through Morbid Angel, and I've been going through everything that's sort of related of that band's spin-off. So I've done Hate Eternal now, I've done Internecine, I've now done Alas. This, yeah, absolutely underrated hidden gem in metal. And then next up, we're going to be doing Nocturnus, and included in that, I'm going to be doing Incubus and After Death, which is kind of the mid prelude between Nocturnus and Nocturnus AD. So basically, Mike Browning, he did not Altar of Madness. I can't remember the brain fart now. The first Morbid Angel album, you know. Go back and watch the video. I'm going to have to go back and watch the video and recap. But obviously, he split with Morbid Angel and then went and did his own thing in Nocturnus, and we're going to be exploring that one next. Excuse me. So, yeah. I hope you're enjoying this series. I'm enjoying doing it. If this is your first video, welcome aboard. Give us one of them, or one of them. It's up to you. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, so then you get the videos first off. And yeah, I'll see you all soon. Take care. Thanks for watching.